Hola. So, I'm sure we are all feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of grief, a lot of different things. And I wanted to come back to something that I know and that is close to me and that has helped me move through anxiety, move through grief, feel those things, and like move them out of me, transmute them, change them into something, it does something better instead of just holding on to them. And anxiety, at least for me, can manifest in a lot of ways, especially within my body. I hold a lot of it in my hips. So my hips will hurt, um, sometimes with my shoulders. And for you, it may be different. And so I just wanted to create this video as something to give to all of you. This is going to be a little bit longer video, but I wanted to create something to give to all of you who, as we all are going through it right now, especially us women, femmes, all those in the LGBTQ community, all people of color, we're going through it right now. We're feeling a lot of shit. So I just want to create this video for you to hopefully give yourself some time and some space to give to your physical body. And also, I also wanted to touch on how movement is important not only for our physical bodies, but also for our mental bodies, for our mental wellness, for our spiritual wellness, for our heart, for our feelings, for so many different parts of us. And I hope we don't forget that and we don't get so stuck in this like, oh, I have to sit here, I have to do work here. Get up and move, expand, move in whatever way feels best for you. And if that's all you need from this video to get up and go do what it is that you want to do, so be it. But if you need a little bit extra, if you want a little bit more guidance in how to move, maybe you just want someone to tell you what to do today, because I get that. As I expressed to a lot of you in a lot of my other videos, especially on Instagram, on how sometimes, we just want someone to tell us what to do and how to move, and that's all right. And if that's you today, awesome. I'm glad you're here. And take your time, take what you need. Meet your body where it's at. Meet yourself where you're at. If you need to take breaks, if you need to pause the video, if you want to do things over again and more reps than I'm doing, that's perfectly fine. If you want to skip something because it doesn't feel good, awesome. I will do my best to modify or say how you can modify things in this video too, to make sure that I'm covering my bases for everyone's abilities as far as I know and have the knowledge and wisdom to do. So I am sitting down right now and we can do the first exercise either seated or standing. I am going to back up to give myself a little bit more space. And again, you can do this seated, you can do this on your knees, which is what I'm doing, or you can do this standing. I am going to move up into standing eventually. So the first one we're going to do, and again, you can do the standing, you can do the sitting, is we're just going to shake our hands. You're just going to shake them out. You can move your shoulders in it. Just shake your hands. Take some deep breaths. Move them all the way up to your shoulders. Get some more fluidity into those shoulders. Let's do some arm circles, shoulder circles, not arm circles, not yet. Shoulder circles, backwards. Let's bring them forward. Make sure you're breathing through this whole thing. You should never be holding your breath. Find whatever breath style is best for you. Now we're going to go into some circles, starting at your elbow. Arms are coming in. Again, breathing. Other direction. All right. Now let's do full arm circles. Other direction. Again, and feel free, if anytime during this video you need to pause it and want to do something more, you need to catch your breath, whatever it is that you need to do, do it. If you want to repeat something, do it. All right, so just take a second. Take a couple deep breaths. And 2, try to move your breath. A lot of times we breathe in our chest and we're breathing out in and through here. I learned this through powerlifting, but I want you to try to move your breath also into your stomach. So you're expanding your diaphragm. When you're inhaling, you're taking air into your belly, into your stomach, as well as your chest. So instead of it just being, I'll kind of show you from the side, it's a, like that. Hopefully you can see it. But try to take more air in throughout your entire torso. So, awesome. All right. So now we are going to stand up. And if you want to continue to do the seated or kneeling or on a chair, whatever you want to do, feel free to do that. I'm going to do remainder of these standing. So the first one is just going to be, we're going to inhale and bring our arms up over our head. And exhale, bring our arms down. Feel free to close your eyes if you want to. Do whatever it is that you need to feel good in this moment. This should feel good. Go at whatever speed is good for you. And now we're going to change it up. And we're going to bend our elbows and kind of push your chest forward. So when you're here, you're just going to push your chest forward. Elbows are going to kind of come back. So I'll show you from this angle as well. So here, you're going to push them back. Might be a little snap, crackle, pop. That's all right. So same, let's bring our arms up. And exhale. Bring them here. Open up those shoulders. Open up your chest, because another place that I hold a lot of my stress, a lot of my anxiety is in my shoulders, in my chest. I get really tight through here, really tight through here. This is also really good to do whenever you are at a computer, you're creating and you're in this posture here. This is a good one to help you be here and help that with your posture as well. All right, so now to take that one a step further, we're going to add a hinge to this. So it could be helpful to have a wall behind you too, so you can kind of help your hips find a place to touch so you know where you're at for that hinge. So get a little close to the wall. You're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, you're going to bring your arms down and you're going to hinge yourself back until your hips touch that wall. And if you need to come forward, do so. Come back, hips should touch the wall. There should be a stretch in your hamstrings. I'll show you from the side as well what that looks like. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're hinging back. There is a slight bend in your knees, but majority of the movement is coming from bringing your hips back. We are shooting our hips back. We are keeping that core engaged. We're not allowing ourselves to arch too much. We're not curving our backs too much. We're thinking that we're up against a wall and we're just pushing our hips backwards. So inhale again and exhale. And we're going to hinge back. Hips are coming back. Slight little stretch through your hamstrings. Go only to where it feels good for you. So do a few reps of that. So inhale, exhale, and touch the wall behind you. Bring yourself back up. Use a chair, use whatever you need to. If you want to pause here and do a few of those, feel free. Perfect time to do that. And so now, after our hinge, we're going to keep that hinge position and we're going to do a little bit more shoulder movement. So you can do the whole thing over again. And we're going to hinge back. We're going to go to where it's a good position for you, what feels best for you. And for me, this looks like this right now, today. Some days it might be different. And all we're going to do, shake out your arms a little bit. And we're just going to bring your arms to the side. Again, opening that chest. They call these arm flaps. I'm sure they have a different name, but that's what I call them. We're just kind of coming back and forth, alternating the arm that's in front, making sure your hips stay back. So we're not turning this into a squat. Try your best not to get into this position here. Keep yourself into a hinge. If you have to bring yourself up a little bit more, that's perfectly fine. If you feel any pain in your lower back, bring yourself back up. redo it and maybe not do these if it is too much. So after the hinge with the arm flaps, maybe I don't know what, yeah, we're flapping. We're gonna do a standing rotation. I love rotations because again, I think a lot of times we're always going forward and back and maybe side to side, but there's very little of this moving. So we're just going to, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to have to get too close to the camera where you can't see my face, but you get the gist of it. Hopefully you can still hear me. So we're going to inhale. And this time when we exhale, we're going to turn to one side. And then we're going to bring ourselves up, turn to the other side, and exhale. Over to the other. All right. And so for this one too, there is ways that you can modify things. You do not have to turn as much. You can have your hands here if you want. You can just do that. That is a little bit harder because your shoulders are in a different position and it is going to help stretch a lot more of your chest and your shoulders. That is a really nice one that I like to do if I have been sitting, along with moving my arms to the side. But this one's going to be a little bit more intense. And again, this can be done seated as well. And you can do this at your desk, really. On your couch, it doesn't matter. You can do it wherever. So I'm doing that a little bit more. And now, if you want, we are going to move into a little bit more dynamic movement. So we're going to start with a knee hug. So this is going to stretch more of our posterior chain. So it's going to be stretching our hamstrings, our glutes, a little bit of our lower back. And what this is going to look like, please feel free to grab something, find something to hold on to, bring up a chair next to you, have the wall, have something that you can grab onto to make sure that you're steady. We don't need anybody falling and hurting themselves. And two, sometimes I need things to hold on to, sometimes I don't. So meet yourself where you're at in the day that you're at. So what we're going to do is bring a little bit more mindfulness to this instead of just going through the movements. I want you to think about grounding through your foot. So whatever foot you want to start on, because we're going to be lifting up a leg, I want you to think about 3 points of contact. I also teach this when I'm teaching people how to squat as well. So this is great carryover. So I want you to think about grounding down in the floor through your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. So those 3 points of contact should stay the whole time. That should be kind of where your focus is, along with a nice straight spine. And all you're going to do is shift your weight onto that foot that you're grounding on, that you're grounding in through, those 3 points of contact. And we're just going to bring your knee up. And you're going to hug it in, and then bring it back down. And if you're holding on to something, I'm going to do it with the opposite leg. And you can also switch. You can switch and go back and forth, or you can stay on one leg. Bring that up. I'm holding on, and I'm just going to hug. And go to wherever you want to. If you can grab here, that's fine. If you can grab here, that's fine. Whatever works best for you. If you can get a full hand around and pull it up, also great. Do what feels best for you. So, grounding down, 3 points of contact, big toe, little toe, heel. Knees up, and here. Make sure you're breathing through all of it. So, and do as many of those as you want to do that feels best for you, using the wall, maybe challenging yourself to balance, even if it's only a little bit and you're only able to get it a few feet off the floor, that's perfectly fine too. Balance is another thing that is always wonderful for your overall health, for your brain health, and also it gets you out of your head. You're in your body, you're focused, you're here, you're present with your body and balancing. And so now we're going to go into opposite muscles. So we were just kind of stretching back here. Now we're going to do a little bit of stretching in the front of our legs. So our quads, a little bit of our hip flexors, abs, good things like that. Even a little bit of shoulder here as well. So this can also be done without anything to stable you with, or you can hold on to something, the wall, it don't matter. figure out something that works best for you and make it happen. So same thing. We're going to ground down through those 3 points of contact, big toe, little toe, and heel. And we're going to come back and you're going to kick your leg up. Now, if it is difficult for you to kick it up, you can always bend this knee to kind of give you a little bit more and then stand up and get a nice stretch. You should feel this in the front of your leg, sometimes in the front of that hip. Focus here. Should be on staying with those 3 points of contact in that foot that's on the floor and feeling that nice good stretch. Breathing. And then switching to the other side. 3 points of contact. Lift that foot up. Stretch it down. If there's popping, that's awesome. As long as it's not hurting. And bring it down. You can do these as fast or as slow as you want to. These are something that I do as a dynamic warm-up and kind of a stretch to kind of assess where I'm at when I'm going to go do something else. So I will do these, and you can always do these walking too. Both of them. The one where you're hugging your leg and this one where you're coming up. And if you want to add a little bit more to this one, you can always add in the opposite arm up. This is more of a little bit more of an advance if you want to challenge yourself. You can do it moving to where you're holding that foot, that opposite arm goes up. And you switch, that foot grounds down, 3 points of contact. We're always paying attention to that. Switch, arm comes up. And you can do that walking for as long as you want to, for as many reps as you want to. So there's a lot of modifications that you can do here with that one. But to start, if where you're at is holding on to something and making sure you have that, and you're just, even if you're grabbing your sock, grabbing your pant leg to try to get that stretch, excellent, do that. You can use one of those straps. I think it would probably be best to use your sock or your pant leg to hold, a little bit more stable. And then just switching both sides, using that sock to get that stretch. The big thing too on this, making sure that you're paying attention to how things are feeling and making sure that you're not overarching anywhere. You want to keep that spine nice and straight. If you are grabbing your sock and you're here, bring that knee in and try to get yourself as straight as you can, pulling that heel up. Always being mindful of how you're feeling. So, you need a little bit more stretching your quads and your hamstrings. We practice that grounding with your foot, with those 3 points of contact. Now, I want to move those even more dynamically. So if you want to move it, take it a bit further, we can do marches. So same thing, grounding, 3 points of contact, except we're going to go a little bit faster. We're just going to bring that knee up. And we're going to keep that foot flexed. Find a nice rhythm with your breath. This is also going to be really helpful for your hip flexors. So if you start to feel, a little something in there, that's what you're working. Your hip flexors are flexing your hip, really. So marches, you can do these. You can even take it even a step further and start doing high knees, if that is what you want to do. Lots of room for modification. Do what works best for you. So on the other side of that, let's take a nice big breath first before we go into that. Kind of see where you're at. And if you need to do that periodically throughout this video, please do that. Pause the video, take a big breath, feel how you're feeling, be with yourself. Sometimes also emotions come up when you start to move. I think it's a beautiful thing, and allow them to come up. Give yourself that space to feel what is being moved as you move. So that's one of the reasons why I love movement. So now, last but not least, we're going to do some butt kickers. So those are just like that quad stretch that we were doing. We're just going to move it a little bit more dynamically. So for that, I'm going to come to the side so I can show you. We're just coming back and forth. And you're thinking to move your heel to your butt. If it touches, that's fine. If you're only coming up to here, that's fine. The big thing is here, we want to use our hamstrings. A lot of times, if we're sitting a lot, our hamstrings, our glutes, kind of become not as used, not as active. And it's important to make sure get those babies turned on, So just marching. Again, we're doing the opposite side. Feeling a little bit of burning possibly in those hamstrings. Awesome. Make sure to be mindful of what you're feeling. Now, and these could also be done walking, and you can take these a bit further and do them jogging for as long as you want to. You can switch with high knees and do high knees going forward, turn around, do butt kickers on the way back. I think they're a great exercise for warm-ups. I do those every single time I'm going to go on a run or a walk. So yeah, so that is the end of all the exercises that I have, all the movements that I have for you today. I hope these served you well. And before you end this, I want you to I would like for you to stand up. And let's ground 3 points of contact, big toe, little toe, and heel. Stand up nice and straight, pull that belly button in, nice, strong, tall spine. Close your eyes if you want to. I want you to inhale. And exhale, let it go. Do that as many times as you need to. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for being here with me. We're going to do more of this because exercise, movement of any form is so important. It is medicine. It is preventative medicine in its own. And if I can help others get a little bit of movement into their day, that's all I want. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Adios.